Your organisation runs training courses for your staff and customers. Only problem is it's time-consuming, inconvenient and costly. Take a leaf out of our book. The School of Hard Knock Knocks uses the online training platform by YZ, and our team and customers love it. It's simple to use, supports every media format, audio, video, text, and looks great on desktops, tablets and mobiles. And for a limited time, quote SHKK when you arrange a demo and get 10% off your first year's plan. YZ helps us deliver comedy courses around the world. Imagine what it could do for your organisation. YZ, that's WYZED.com. YZ, online learning made simple. You're listening to the School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast with me, Maury Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian.
Shouldn't drink on an empty head, you know that, don't you?
That is the shittiest heckle I have ever heard in my life.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
What's a bucket list?
You have dangerously underprepared yourself for the shit that is about to get real.
Dave O'Neill has been performing stand-up comedy for an incredible 29 years. It was only fitting that a TV show about his life should be made. And in this School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast, Dave and I talk about producing Dave, the show about Dave. We discuss the politics of the TV world, casting stand-up comedians as actors, podcasting, and the financial benefits of being a comedy writer and not a performer. And one more thing, Dave is most certainly not starting his own stand-up comedy course. Not that I was worried. In September, we have the incredible Glenn Nicholas and Greg Fleet at our Adelaide and Melbourne stand-up comedy courses, respectively. If you'd like to get along and get coached by two of the most experienced comedians in Australia who aren't Dave O'Neill, be sure to log on to www.schoolofhardknockknocks.com. And now, here's my interview with Dave O'Neill.
Please give it up for one of the legends of Australian comedy, Mr. Dave O'Neill!
You're not Dave Hughes.
I'm Dave O'Neill.
You're late.
Hughesy. Yes, Dave.
You're breaking up.
Hello? Let me speak to him. I'll do it. I'm busy. I'm angry. He's busy, mate. He's busy.
I find you guilty of being lazy.
Just put your seatbelts on. That joke normally kills.
Good afternoon, Dave. How are you?
Yes, good, Murray. Now, you may have seen on Facebook there was a post of me saying I'm starting a comedy course to rival the School of Hard Knock Knocks.
Oh, I'm in shock.
It's going to be called Comedy Course with two Ks. Comedy Course with a K. No, it's a joke. It's I went on Nick Capper and Mark Goldstein. I know they've been on your podcast.
Yep.
They do a podcast called Phone Hacks, and they got me to put a fake Facebook post up, and that was their idea. So,
wow.
There's a bit of interest out there in courses, isn't there? There's a little bit of interest, but I had people replying to me that I don't. Oh God, and I'm just like, oh no. It's my idea of a nightmare. So, I'll leave it to you.
Oh, well, you have, I know you've disappointed a lot of people out there, but well, we've invited you. You've been to the School of Hard Knock Knocks yourself and taught one of our classes last year, I believe. And and it was a while ago, but I quite like talking about comedy, and and I also in the Comics Lounge used to run the Devil's Workshop. Maybe I used to do them occasionally, and also I've done comedy writing, taught comedy writing courses years ago at Melbourne Uni with Mark O'Toole, because we were both head writers of Full Frontal. So but these days, this was before the internet, sort of, or just as the internet was starting. These days, I assume people get their information off the internet. I don't know. So I did teach a course last year for Writers Victoria, and everyone for comedy writing, and everyone was over 50, which was really because normally when you teach a comedy writing course, they're all under 30 or 35ish, and it was interesting. So there you go.
Yeah, I trained to be a teacher, and I don't really want to go back in the classroom. No,
I can understand. Yeah, I think off mic we did talk about some of the creative characters that do get into comedy and obviously use a course like your fictional course that you may or may not be creating, and the School of Hard Knocks. Yeah, well, look, we get those, but we only get them for 5 days.
I'll just be blunt. Courses attract a lot of broken people, and also people that think you've got the answer.
Yeah.
And there is, you know, how many books in the world have the answer or the secret in it? Over 1 million, because people just want, like, I want to be a comedian. Okay, sit down, I'm going to tell you in 5 minutes. As we know, it's all about hard work. That's the answer. It's just hard work. And it's like anything, becoming a plumber or a surgeon, hard work.
Which is a great segue to the whole point of this interview. I think you did that on purpose, didn't you? Which is, you essentially have told the world through your TV show or the TV pilot, called Dave, after you, of course, don't become a stand-up comedian. It's a shit job, right? You've basically said that it's an investment to avoid competition, I assume.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, so you're talking about Dave, mate. It's part of Pilot Week on Channel 10. For people don't know, they've got 8 new shows on very soon. Mine's on a Friday night. But you can watch it on 10 Play. So if you missed it, go to 10 Play and have a look. And
10 Play.
It's a sitcom based on my life as a stand-up comic and a father and husband. And someone reviewed and said I play a lower version of myself, but I still do. I just did a football club, so in the show I do get dim sims thrown at me at a football club, and then I get punched by Brendan Favola at the school fete. I haven't been punched yet, but I've had similar incidents. But it's, even though you can watch Dave and go, he's still got a good lifestyle. He drops the kids off at school, goes to the pub with Glenn Robbins and hangs around with him, and then does a gig. Sure, he gets dim sims thrown at him. So it's still not a bad lifestyle. It's not, even on the worst day.
And do you actually hang out with Glenn as well?
Yes.
Do you hang out with Glenn Robbins?
Well,
you
that's actually, definitely. But he's one of my best friends in comedy, because we do a podcast, as you know, called Somehow Related. So download it, guys. Anyway, and so, he's definitely one of my best friends in comedy. And so the pub where we shoot it at, which is the Grandview in Fairfield, is where we go and have lunch. Mm-hmm. So it's all... Yeah, right. Someone said, are any of the relationships real in the sitcom? Well, the wife's not really my wife. That's Emily Tahini, the great actress. And there's, Dilrick. Dilrick plays my best friend in the shop, sort of the guy I hang out with. That's we're friends in real life. But the Glenn relationship is actually a genuine team. Yeah, that's all.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
because I was going to ask about the family, because you've obviously cast a wife and 2 kids, and you have 2 kids in reality.
I have 3
as well.
3. Yeah.
Oh, you 3?
That
that third one's going to be very disappointed when he or she realises she was cut out of the story.
It just simplifies it a bit, and also my kids are older than that now, because I wrote that. So long ago that I've got a teenager now. So anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
because I was going to ask, is this TV family better than the original?
Yes. Well, it's funny. A guy who I've done a few gigs for in Geelong, he's just like a guy, he's a parent of, a school committee, texted me and said, saw a photo of you and your wife in the paper. Man, you're batting above your average. And I'm like, I go to my actual wife. When were we in the paper? I realise it's a photo of my TV family.
Jeez, God. Thank God you don't play an evil character, and then he thinks that's real too.
I saw you sit as a serial killer. What's going on?
Jeez, you've deteriorated? Oh, dear. I thought you were
mate. I've had a few messages about, I saw you and your family in the paper. It's not my family, they're actors. But anyway, I had to pick someone that my real wife was happy with, and so she really likes Emily, finds her funny, so... That's a happy wife, happy life.
That is it. So how many? Let's talk TV language in the can. So how much footage have you got in the can? Because you've got a pilot. I assume that's 1 episode. But have you filmed the other episodes, or is it just the first episode you filmed?
No. No. So the pilot you'll see is like 22 minutes long, which is a standard half an hour for If an episode of Roseanne or Seinfeld is normally 22 minutes long with the ads in it, makes half an hour. And so I couldn't, because I paid for it essentially myself. You can't afford to fund a whole series; it's too expensive. But I wrote the script and shopped it around, and people love the script, they love the casting, and then they would just say, "But I don't think it'll get up. I can't, it won't get up. You're an older middle-aged white man, you know, it's not the flavour of the month. We've got a lot of those shows. And so I just reached a point where I was going to fund it myself. So I just funded it myself, and then I shopped it around, and that's when 10 said, we've got this thing called Pilot Week.
Mm-hmm.
We love this show, and we'll give you some money, because it was only 18 minutes this day, so we filmed a few extra scenes to lengthen it out, and So I'd love to do a whole series. Obviously, that's the aim, is that it's successful, people love it, they give you more money to film a whole series. And I've certainly written scripts, but it's a shot in the dark.
Oh, there you go. You've got to take risks, isn't it?
But to quote the great Hughesy, who appears in the show as himself, and that relationship is real. I'm a good friend of his. He plays a very rich Hughesy in a mansion. Yeah. And when I ring him, he throws his phone into the pool to avoid talking to me. Anyway, so he said, mate, it's already a win. You've got your show on air. And it's true. That's when I made the show, I remember Glenn Robbins saying, when we watched the finished product, he goes, this is too good for just putting on YouTube. I reckon this will end up on TV. I'm like, you reckon? And then he was right. And so it's a win just getting it on TV, basically. Just this one episode, I'm wrapped that it's on TV.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, look, very pleased. And it looks good. And, obviously, it's like...
It's shot well.
It looks very good. And obviously, for some industries, writing a book is the thing you have to do to qualify yourself within that industry. But I think today, you've got to be on TV. And, look, you've been on TV more than this. I mean, you've played yourself on many occasions, haven't you, on Spicks and Specs, for example.
And Spicks and Specs.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Hughes, you have a problem, whatever, all those shows. And but as you get older, those opportunities, unless you keep pushing it, will start to dry up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because there's always that raft of young comics coming through. And so you've got to keep reinventing yourself and, putting yourself out there. I mean, look at Lawrence Mooney. He's just come across this great Malcolm Turnbull impression.
Yep.
I mean, it's just incredible. So, or Denise Scott, she's now on Studio 10. You know what I mean? Like, those two people are some of the funniest people in Australia, and they both should have their own TV shows. But just because of, whatever circumstances, they don't. Yeah, right. So you've got to do something, don't you, to get yourself out there?
You've certainly got to push. Yeah. Look at Troy Kinney, for example. I mean, I think he's one of the group in
he's doing a pilot.
Yeah. And I've been following his trajectory. He does a lot of YouTube videos, obviously, but all of very high quality.
Facebook.
And Facebook, was it?
It's mainly Facebook now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because Facebook usually get more views.
Yeah, true.
There's an industry tip.
There you go.
That Troy told me. No, Troy's a very talented comic, and he's got that thing that a lot of comics don't have. He has that blue collar appeal.
Yeah, right.
And so he could be massive. He should have his own show, and obviously the Channel 10 guys are giving him a cramp because, I mean, he did have his own show, but it was on 7 Mate, but he should be on somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere bigger.
10.
Which is a question I have now, because you're going into an area that I wanted to ask you about, and that is with, for example, Utopia, that's Rob Sitch's crew.
I was in it.
I'm sure you were, because it seems that...
Played a property developer.
Oh, did you?
Darren Nathan.
It seems the way that comedy TV shows go is that you hire stand-up comedians to play the actors or to play the characters. Like Utopia, I think, exclusively, isn't it?
To act.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Celia, Limo, Dilworth,
Kitty Flanagan,
McGregor. Yeah, there's also people like Rob, who's not essentially stand-up, but he's a very good comic actor. And, I mean, they're good. I mean, not everyone's like them, though. Working Dog are very good at looking at stand-up comics and going, he'd be good for that role, he'd be good for that role. So, I mean, I played a brash, bogan property developer from Queensland, and I said, well, why did you choose me? And Rob just said, I could just, it's an easy part for you because you're like a bogan. So I'm like, that's a compliment.
Jeez.
So, and like, I think those guys in particular are very good at identifying talent.
Yep.
But also, not all comics can act.
No, you think so?
Not all comics can act.
That was the question I was going to ask. Do you think it's easier for stand-up comedians to get into the movie business or the TV business than another direction?
Yeah. Then they're doing it. Well, I mean, if you do an acting course like NIDA or VCA, you've got to get into those courses. They're very hard. And at least as a comic, I always say to my kids, don't become an actor. I read that Judd Apatow's daughters they act in some of his movies, and he said, girls, become writers before you become actors, because as a writer, you'll probably always get work. And it's the same as a stand-up. if you've got no work, you can go create your own work.
True.
But as an actor, it's really hard. You've got to wait for the phone to ring, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think with acting for comics, there are some comics who are very good at acting, like, say, a Lawrence Mooney or someone like that. But most of us are best just playing ourselves or characters very similar to ourselves.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So Dilrick is in my show, and he plays a fan of comedy who works in my local shop, and that's similar to the real guy.
Yeah,
you
right.
know what I mean? So,
Yep.
But and Dave Thornton plays a hyper sporty dad who's my nemesis.
Yep.
But he can actually act. He's quite a good actor, Thornton, which I never realised.
Yep.
So interesting.
How many total cameos or main cast were there that are actual stand-up comedians? You've mentioned Dilrook, Dave Thornton, Glenn Robbins,
Dave
of course.
Thornton, Glenn Robbins, Geraldine Hickey.
Geraldine
plays the
Hickey, that's
chef
right. She plays a role.
She's hilarious. David Tolk is in it as well as my wife's number one patient.
Okay.
Tolkien, he does a very good physical fall.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, he falls off the massage bed. Who else is in it? That's probably Evan Hawkins, an extra.
Yep.
There's comics. I mean, if I got this show up, every comic would get a gig. Don't worry about that.
Nice.
But that said, some of the actors are bloody amazing, like Justin Rosniak, who's what you would call a jobbing actor. He's been acting since he was a kid. He plays the footy club president where I go to do the football club where it all turns pear-shaped.
Okay.
He is just amazing at playing the gruff bogan kind of.
Yep.
For comics that are listening, when you turn to footy clubs, this happened to me today at Sandringham. Almost to the script, the guy goes, "So what else do you do for job work?"
All right.
And in the Dave show, I go, "Oh, I've got a trash and treasure market on Sundays. I do a stall."
Yeah, right.
And he goes, "Really?" And I go, "No, that's a joke." He goes, "Well, fucking don't do that one up there." And it was almost script for script at the Sandringham Football Club. I said the same thing to this guy. And he goes, "Oh, don't do that joke up there." But yeah, so some of those actors, there's some actors that can, I mean, obviously they're trained actors. They can just, they can do that comedy stuff very well. Ben Lomas is also in it. He plays a cop. Yeah.
Oh, yep. Because you've got the other podcast. You mentioned one podcast with Glenn Robbins, but the one that I like is The Debrief, which you obviously it's got to be linked to the comedian that you're working with that particular week. And you get in the car. Often it's recorded just before and then immediately after you've done a gig.
And then after,
And sometimes the gigs are far away, like Swan Hill or Mildura or somewhere like that. And then other times,
like
Colac, And other times it's more of a local gig. I imagine, and because the stories that you tell, because you're interviewing, but you're also sharing your own personal journey over the last 28 years, 29 years. What are you doing now?
29. 30 years next year.
Good God!
I know, crazy. Well, this is half the reason I did the TV show, because in comedy, I'd done sort of everything I wanted to. I did radio for years.
That's right.
I've written books. I wrote the films, Takeaway with Mark O'Toole, the guy I work with still this day. And so I'd written on a lot of people's TV shows, been on TV, but I'd never done my own show, and that's what I always wanted to do. But it took a while to get there. It took 29 years.
29 years.
We got there.
And how does
I know. See, this is the thing I should have. Yeah.
And how does the voting work?
Should have done it earlier. I got close to getting going. Sorry.
You don't have terminal cancer, right? You're planning on being on this earth for a little bit longer? I don't know. You're laughing, so maybe you do.
I know. And you got to remember, the best sitcom in the world, I reckon, is Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yep.
And he is 70.
Oh, right.
Apparently, Larry David.
There you go.
And that is the most cutting edge sitcom you can get, I reckon.
Yep.
And he's a 70-year-old Jewish guy. So, got a few more years.
There you go. You just got to change religions and you'll be fine. Helps. All right, does it? Not in Australia, maybe.
I'm circumcised. I am circumcised. I'm halfway there.
Oh, that's good. I'll put that in the show notes to attract the right audience.
Too much information. But, all my generation were, so for some reason.
Oh, dear. Well, maybe that should be a question I always ask comedians when we, obviously, one half of the comedian group. Voting. So, Dave, the TV show, is there anything that listeners to this podcast right now can do to help get Dave, the TV show,
across the
line? Do they vote? Do they write complaint messages?
There's no voting. There's no voting process that I know of.
Okay.
But just watch it on 10 Play and put positive comments.
Yep.
I mean, it's already, it's been very vague what Channel 10 how they're going to choose which of the shows because they probably don't know. But it's more to do with buzz and reaction and reviews and some ratings, But I mean, I'm on a Friday night. So you're up against footy, AFL or NRL or whatever.
Right.
But I am up against Essendon versus Port Adelaide. And I've spoken to the football expert, Dave Hughes, and he said, Dad, don't worry, that won't be a problem. Those teams, they're out. But anyway, I may not be out. But anyway, look, just watch it on 10 Play would be good. And, send an email to the CEO of Channel 10, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, right. But, I'll put a link in.
They'll just look, in the end, it'll come down to 4 or 5 people sitting in the boardroom going, all right, what do we think?
That's right.
That's what I believe anyway.
Yeah.
I don't. And, but already we've been, like the guy from the Herald Sun and the Telegraph, Colin Vickery, he said it's his favourite. He tweeted it's his favourite. And so that's good. That's what we want.
That's what you want. The right people on the right side. Well, you're appealing to the right-leaning Melburnians in that particular,
publication.
Yeah. You also need the age.
No, it's the working man's paper. Come on.
Oh, is it? Right.
Working man's paper.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, at one point it was. All right. Well, mate. Yeah. Thanks very much. I have checked out the pilot, and I'm going to be on 10 Play after tonight with the family. Yeah. Is it 10 Play? It's called 10 Play, isn't it? Yeah.
10 Play. 10 Play. The good thing about it is you can watch it with a family because it's not rude. So there's no swearing. There's no adult content. There's no sexual stuff. So my kids who are ranged from 10 to 15, they all loved it. I mean, because it's sort of, they just love seeing their dad have Dim Sims thrown at him. But also it is a sort of family viewing. I never designed it that way, but it's sort of, you could show it at 7:30 at night, wouldn't matter. So,
there's actually only one show that I watch regularly, and it happens to be on 10 as well, and that's Have You Been Paying Attention? So that is also a big supporter of comedy and stand-up comedians as well.
I'm waiting for my phone call to go on that show, but I'm still waiting. But I used to go on the panel a lot, which is those guys, Working Dog. But there's only so many spaces. That's the problem with shows like that. And they've got
that's true.
And in terms of being a white man, they've got Ed and Sam on there, and so there's only one spot left for a man. So it's hard to get on there, I believe. But it's a very good show. People think I've been on that show too. Oh, you go on that? Have you been? Yeah, I always go. Yeah, I go on that. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Good show. Love it.
Yeah.
Good work.
That's it. You are ubiquitous with comedy in Australia. That's it. You're just everything to everyone. Oh well, there you go.
What you're saying is I'm a hack. Yes, that's right. I'll do anything.
Not a hack. Jack of all trades. No, I'm not going there. No, but Dave Hughes, who we've talked about, he is also ubiquitous to the point where I think he did a bit of a spoof comedy thing with David Tolk. Was it In the Back of the Car?
Gabe.
What's that?
Yeah.
Gabe. Yeah, Gabe Hogan. Where they talk about how he's everywhere. Well, yeah.
And he pops up. Yeah, it's very funny.
He's in the back.
It's very funny. That's the good thing about Hughes. He's very busy, but he will do stuff like that. He is quite generous with his time. So if you've got a school fete or a function at your church, bring him up.
Yeah, that's right. He's also a local to me as well. He and Jeff Green get together quite regularly and do events for the school down this part of the world.
Yeah, it's handy.
Yeah, it is. Well, Dave,
like that.
I will let you go.
No worries.
You are walking. Are you going to pick them up? Is it school pickup?
Yes, it's school pickup. Yeah.
One of the advantages of being a evening comedian. Excellent.
Yeah, I've got to do 2 gigs tonight, but whatever, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
that's my life.
Good on you.
All right, well, good to speak to you.
No worries, Dave, and thank you again for confirming that you're not going into direct competition with the School of Hard Knock Knocks.
Comedy course with 2 Ks. Comedy with a K, course with a K.
Oh, dear. Nice one.
One sessions, $4,000 cash up front.
Up front, exactly. And a psych test beforehand, eh? So, Dave, thanks very much. Have a great day. Have a great weekend with the real family.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe I'll leave them for my TV family. Who knows? Thanks, man.